and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View. I'm so excited about our guest tonight, but before we start, I want to tell you about one of our sponsors, Swiss America. Our country is facing so many problems these days under Joe Biden. The last thing any of us need is more to worry about. Unfortunately, we now have to fear losing our freedom and privacy with the Democrats' new push for a digital dollar that could allow the government to tell us what we can and cannot buy with our own hard-earned money. That's why I'm encouraging every one of you tuning into the show right now to get The Secret War on Cash, an insightful report created by my friends at Swiss America. With this report, you'll learn how to protect yourself from the threats facing our freedom and your hard-earned money. The report is available right now to my listeners free of charge. Just call 800-289-2646 or visit www.swissamerica.com/Trump for your free report. Tonight we are joined by author, comedian, transformational coach, and more. He's the host of the Still Standing Up podcast, Craig Shoemaker. Craig, welcome to the show. I just want to jump right in here because right before we started, and I want people to get to know you. I want to talk about your life, how you and I even connected, because we love all that stuff. Right before we got on here, your dog started barking. And I said, what kind of dog do you have? Because I'm a crazy dog lady. Tell us all about your dog.
Well, it was a rescue. I had a really strange thing that happened in the last couple of years. My wife is in a cult and left the marriage, so I got divorced. And by the way, all my comedy shows this year are benefit shows, and all proceeds go to my ex-wife. I just so all cover charge goes to Botox and Pilates class. But anyway,
oh my God!
So we have two children that. They're like, what happened here? And I got them this dog. We went to the local pound, and she was actually in there the longest. And it looked like she was going to be euthanized. So she rescued us and we rescued her. And she's just so beautiful. It's such an amazing story because my son said this is the greatest day of my life. And he really needed that. They both needed it because of all this upheaval that happened with their mom and, joining up with this woman. And so she rescued us. We rescued her. And man, she did some time in the joint because she has unbelievable pecs. She must have been lifting weights in there.
What kind of dog is she?
Mostly pit bull. And people have such an attitude towards, and I used to as well because of all the, the propaganda. It's propaganda.
Yes.
They're the sweetest dogs ever.
No, Craig, I always say my adage is that pit bulls are the Donald Trump of the dog world. And I say that because if you actually know Donald Trump, what you'll know is that all of the nonsense that is spewed out there about Donald Trump is not true. He is a very misunderstood person if you only get your information from certain media outlets. And I find that pit bulls are the same way. First of all, I love rescue. It's all I do. I do tons of animal rescue, and I have 3 dogs. Pit bulls are among my favorite, and they are such sweet animals. In fact, at one time, they were known as the nanny dog. If you go back and look at the show Little Rascals, that was a pit bull they had there. I think Petey was his name.
Petey was a bull terrier, actually. I think.
Okay, but it's pit bulls were all encompassing.
Dog woman here, or any woman for that matter. Women win every argument. You realize how in charge you are. I don't care who runs for president. Women are in charge of everything. Okay. My ex-wife, she decorated our house with feng shui. Ever heard of this feng shui? You probably do.
Oh yeah.
It's an ancient Chinese word, which apparently means put your husband's crap in the garage. That's because we have nothing to say with what goes on in the house. Decorative towels, can't use them.
Can't use them. Yeah, not if they don't match. Not if it doesn't look good.
Here's your decorative towel. I'll pay for it. I'm going to use it. I'll never be so dry. I'm drying places that you've never heard of. But that's probably why I'm divorced. I went against the grain.
I don't think we have to ask you about being a comedian. I think clearly it's coming naturally to you. I mean, how did this happen for you, though? Were you like a class clown growing up? How did you get into all of this? Or is this, I mean, clearly, like I said, it's just kind of natural.
I have a story that, you might have to stick with me on this one and understand it's not like a funny story, but it's a story of, I'm really, really about higher consciousness and this great power that's within us, this God, whatever you want to call it, whatever you deem it to be, is I really believe in that. And there was a message that was sent to me. And when I was a kid, my dad left when I was born, something I said.
Oh, wow.
So it was a series of really rough go. We had no money, and I thought the word evict meant move when I was a kid. Here's the eviction truck, mommy. We move again, place to place. And my mom moved us into an area is kind of a little wealthier. And they would pick on me and they beat me. And I was really tiny, and it was a really rough go. So fourth grade is when it all started. I told a story, and I was just caught like sewing my pants in the bathroom, which is really humiliating. And the rich kids saw me do it, and they just shamed me. And it's the only pair of pants I had to learn how to sew with a thimble. I'm in fourth grade, And this one day I told a story. I broke a vase and my mom beat me. And I told this story to the class, and they started one by one. I'm noticing, wow, this one's paying attention. This one's listening to me. This one's laughing. And laughter became magical to me that day, because it really was the most healing thing I could ever imagine. I could never have imagined this would happen. Then I started exaggerating. She beat me so much, I was a piñata. Candy flew out of my mouth. And just telling the truth, which is what comedy really is if you boil it down. I told this truth, and everything shifted. But then the next day, Mrs. Stout was her name. She said, he'll never do this again. And this goes to show you still to this day what people do with comedians, how they shame us and try to cancel us because we tell the truth.
Well, by the way, that you bring me to a great point, which is I always want to know from people in Hollywood, people who kind of perform, whether it's music or comedians out there, whatever, for a living. It seems like today people are so easily offended that comedy isn't funny anymore, right? Movies aren't as entertaining anymore because everyone is so nervous about crossing a line. But is it that people, Craig, just don't want to hear that truth? They're so upset to hear it. In some ways, yeah, to me, that's why they don't like Donald Trump so often, because, man, he doesn't sugarcoat it. He just tells you the truth.
Mrs. Stout, by the way, you know what she did? This tells you the canceling that took place then. She literally hogtied me the next day.
No.
My hands with blue yarn behind my back and put me into a closet in a supply. You will sit on this box and don't get up. And I was so defiant, I kept getting up, and I'd see her thighs and her plaid skirt coming at me through the vent, and I'd jump back on. And she said, and I'm going to tell you something. A voice inside of me said, not only you are going to continue to do this. This is the most magical, beautiful thing you could do, is make people laugh. You keep doing it. And I ended up doing it for a living starting in high school, and I never stopped. And it's all I'm telling the truth. And here's the thing that people can't be offended by. When I coach, I mentor people, even speaking and everything. If you tell your truth, no one can deny it. That's the thing, is if you make accusations or things like that. So like I take Donald Trump as an example. You know him, right?
I sure do.
So if I was coaching him, what I would say to him is, share your experience with someone instead of just accusing or labeling. He does the name calling, which I don't think is a smart idea. So, and by the way, just to be honest with you, I was opposed to him, and I was a lefty. I left the left this past year. I left. I'm not coming back.
So
you know why I left?
Yeah, go ahead. What changed you?
I'm filled with empathy and compassion. I love people, and I love to do, my mission is to make them happier, uplift them, live in love, light, and levity. That's my mission in life. And I've done this at a high level for a long time. It's magical. It's beautiful. And the left is so intolerant, and I'm a tolerant person. I believe in empathy. I believe in, that's why I'm on your show now, and I never would have done your show before when I was on the left. And they attack people. They'll attack me for just being on the show. They'll pick some little nugget and then use it and run with it. I'm done with them. And guess what? I have news for you. You're going to like this. There's loads of us in Hollywood that are the same way. We're noticing how disingenuous this whole thing, that I have a whole thing, Unwoke AF. That's my tour. I tell my kids that's Unwoke Air Force, Air Fryer, whatever you want to call it. But it's just they're deciding what is woke and what is awake. But there's other people that are marginalized. Like, I think Native Americans have it worse than anyone. So how come you don't have hashtag Trail of Tears? How about a ribbon? It's not trending for them. But if it trends for them, they'll decide who the enemy is. They decide. No one's going to decide my enemy. I'll make my own judgments about Donald Trump or Joe Biden, wherever it is. I'll make my own, because my book is called Get Out of Line and Into Alignment. I have my own alignment. I don't need the news. I don't need the news to tell me what they're all sponsored anyway. They're all sponsored.
Right.
Therefore, by the way, when I was on the left, I said this. They can't be telling the truth because they could never expose anyone that's sponsoring them. Could they do something about somebody poisoning our food supply? They could never do that because they're sponsored by food companies.
Right.
So I'm off of that. I'm into, here I am just with you. I'm in presence mindfulness. I'm just with you, just meeting you for the first time, having some laughs, having some fun, because I think laughter is the most spiritual thing in the world. It's a
Well, and it
bullet creating your
connects.
true self.
Yeah, and it connects people, Craig. That's the thing is I feel like if it is very healing and connects people in so many different ways. If you can go sit down and have a laugh with somebody, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, I think you said beautiful earlier when you described it. You're exactly right. I think we need more of that, not less.
And I will tell you a really quick story. I was telling you about the pastor that I'm friends with.
Yeah.
And I was invited to church to speak about healing powers of laughter. And I have a whole program called Winning with Laughter. And this is really my calling. You know, I've done really well in stand-up, still do it. Still just get out there, no politics whatsoever, just make people laugh with my stories. And I spoke this one day, and this pastor came up to me, he goes, I've always wanted to meet you. And it was a little different than most fans. He really wanted to meet me. And he goes up on stage, and after I did, he tells this story about 30 years ago. He was studying to be a pastor. And he had a mentor, had a wife and 3 kids. He kind of wanted what we had. He was a Christian man. And then he had a fiance, and she got pregnant. He took her to his parents' house and introduced. They said, abort that child, or you're not our child anymore. He goes, I can't do that. And they said, well, then get out of this house. And so he's distraught. Obviously, he's lost his family. And she takes her ring, puts it on the dashboard, says, it's not your child. It's his best friend's child. So, yeah. And now he's really, this is the guy who's mentoring him, and this is his fiance. So now he's completely betrayed and distraught, and he's suicidal. He's going to kill himself. He knows exactly where he's going to do. He's going to drive off this cliff to the left where he's been driving for years. He's driving along, and a miracle occurred, and he made the right instead of the left. And that night, I was at Kenny Loggins, my old friend, you know Kenny Loggins.
Oh, yeah.
He's literally doing this song, Peace of Mind. I was feeling so ethereal, so divine, which that's another thing with comics. They're so cut off. They don't want to admit that there's a God there. It's so beautiful and divine and has this true essence of who we are. I was just feeling this peace of mind. The pastor texted me. He goes, the reason I drive off the cliff is someone had just handed me a CD of a comedian named Craig Shoemaker. Because I laughed until I cried. And life is worth living. I made the right. He met his wife the following week, and they're still married to this day. And he's one of my best friends. He goes, you saved my life, and I'm with you forever. He shares about it from the pulpit all the time.
I have chills right now, Craig. That's amazing.
And I went back to 4th grade, and I said, thank you, voice.
Yeah.
With this, and this man's alive, and many people are, because they understand the joy of living is everything. It's not about the politics. So I'm right in this other space. I'm in this other space of, no, I'm right here in the center, centered in this space where I can see it all. I don't have to follow somebody. I follow my heart, follow my bliss. And this is where I'm coming from now. It's what I'm teaching, and I'm so passionate about, if you can't tell. And it's all confirmed by this man who's now my really good friend. And he, by the way, he's way right. So
well,
he invited me to Turning Point. I'm going, oh my God, if my lefty friends could see me now. But I loved it. I was listening to people. I was truly listening to them, not being interpreted.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have problems with things that either side says. I'm gonna voice it because I speak my truth.
Well, because I mean, like, if we're being honest, every person is unique and individual. And even my husband and I don't agree on every single nuance of everything. You know, that's life, and that's how people are. And I think that's what makes life interesting, quite frankly, Craig. Like, you know, we're not all supposed to think the exact same way. And that's what's really incredible about this country. And I feel like at one time that was a real plus for this country. You know, it was a marketplace of ideas. You and I might agree on some things and disagree on others, and we could sit down and talk about them. But it does feel like we're in this really awful place where no one wants to do that. Do you ever think we get back to a better spot like that?
Well, this is the reason why they're canceling comedians, because we're indies. First of all, we know corporate sponsors. Nobody's behind the comedian, so we're almost easy to pick on. And they know that we are like Toto with the Wizard of Oz. We're going to pull the curtain on the wizard. We're going to do that, and people are offended by that. Followers of left and right, A lot of people don't want to hear the truth. And that's what we do. So us exposing that is offensive to people, because if you're a follower, just a blind follower of anyone, like you were saying, you're not a blind follower. You're going to challenge. You're going to say not going to agree. Let's challenge one another to be better people.
Right.
And why not? And that's what comedians do, is we do it in a fun way where we tease ourselves and self-deprecating, but also tease others. And it's okay. Have a sense of humor and have fun with yourself. I'm from Philadelphia. That's a little rough. I got a little rough, but I'm also living in California. I'm like stuck between namaste and kiss my ass. That's kind of where I live in that space. But I have a teacher and a mentor. And the other day I was walking on this path, and I was having this beautiful discussion with him, and really, really high level. And I was feeling high vibration. And then these women were coming, they were hogging the path. And I was like, here I'm talking about these little shitheads. Come on, just move over. So I went right off of here I am, and I laughed. He goes, thank you for laughing. Thanks for calling yourself on that. Laugh at ourselves, because we're not all that all the time. And other people project their own crap onto father-in-law, whoever it is. It's a projection, and it's virtue signaling. I'm going to tell you the other reason I left Hollywood is when Will Smith smacked Chris Rock, who's one of the most brilliant comedians ever, for just telling a simple joke, and it wasn't even offensive at all. And look how many people even took Will Smith's side. That tells you how weird people are now. And they gave him a standing ovation. That's when I went, Hollywood, I am done with you. Disingenuous. And here's what they're going to do. They're shooting themselves in the foot. This whole diversity quotient, everything.
Oh
it's
my gosh.
fun. Yes, we should all have equal. Absolutely. I get it. Let's catch up and all that kind of stuff. But when it's phony, and that's what it is, it's phony, because it's the mandates out there from Hollywood. I'm told, don't even bother auditioning a big white guy like me, right? It's like, you
can't get anything. Craig, you're part of the problem right now, according to a lot of these people.
Yeah, and these women are mad. I go, hey lady, you created every penis that's out there. I just want you to know that. So let's not get too far into me. But it's so ridiculous. What's going to happen is they're shooting themselves in the foot, because you sit there and you're an American, right? You're watching a commercial that's filled with this diversity. It's phony. We all know that you're just doing it because you were told to do it. These people would never be in the same room. So my kids laugh at me. I'm like OG cranky over here. All right, cue the Asian trans. Oh, there he is. They would never be in the same room.
No, it's so true. And everyone knows it.
As a comedian, that's my observation. I have observations on things that are phony and false and inauthentic, and we're going to call it. The same we do on Donald Trump, the same we do with Joe Biden, the same whoever it is.
I want to ask you in a second about some presidents, but nobody move. We're going to take a quick commercial break. All right, I hate to interrupt the show, but I want to share a new company with you called Googie Pet. Googie Pet is a total game changer for dogs. Pet owners care deeply about their pets because they're our family. I've introduced my dogs to Googie Pet all-natural vitamin chews, and the transformation has been incredible. Big brands often put profits before our pets' health. Googie Pet is different. It started with 3 dog-loving brothers on a mission. Partnering with a PhD animal nutritionist, they created Googie Pet. It focuses on bringing dog vitamin chews that are made in the USA and has every ingredient with a purpose to improve the health and happiness of our dogs. The Googie Pet 10-in-1 multivitamin chews can not only improve your pet's joint flexibility and energy levels, but can also make their coat softer and shinier than ever. I like keeping my dogs moving and very active, so it's great to know I'm able to help them even more by adding this supplement to their daily routine. Googie Pet also offers different products like their hemp calming chews that can naturally ease dogs' anxiety, making them calmer, happier, and healthier. I'm so passionate about creating positive changes in dogs that I want to offer a special 20% discount offer just for you. Visit googiepet.com, GOOGIPET.com/Lara Trump, and it will redirect you to buy these amazing products straight from Amazon. You can also use code Lara Trump at the checkout for 20% off. As a busy mom, I know the importance of being prepared. Let's face it, life can be unpredictable, and whether it's sudden storms, power outages, or other unpredictable events in life, being prepared with ReadyWise emergency food gives you peace of mind knowing you'll have delicious, nutritious meals on hand. They're also great on camping trips and hiking adventures. ReadyWise has a huge selection of freeze-dried meals from breakfast to pasta dishes. You can rest assured your food will be good to eat whenever you need it with their 25-year shelf life. ReadyWise is an American company providing high-quality, delicious food packed at their state-of-the-art plant right here in the USA. That means you're supporting American jobs when you choose ReadyWise. Always be prepared. Visit ReadyWise.com and use promo code TRUMP20 at checkout for 20% off any regular priced item. That's ReadyWise.com, promo code TRUMP20. All right, Craig, you have actually performed stand-up for 4 presidents. First of all, I don't even know, how does one do that? I want to know which ones and who provided the best audience.
I can't tell because they were all out there in the same place. It was called the Summit for Volunteerism in Philadelphia. It was like 1998. It was Clinton, Bush, both Bushes.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a pretty cool moment for me. The guy who I liked the most, though, who did approach me, I didn't really, hang with them. Their security, Jimmy Carter, and the security was so heavy. But the guy who rushed the stage after I got off because I did really well was Jesse Jackson.
No way.
Yeah, and so he was really cool. He was, man, that was so funny. And we're about to exchange numbers, and someone pulled him away, like I was, some fan of his. They pulled him away and they sent him to the stage, and then that was the last I ever spoke to him. So
wow,
it was a fun night, and I had to keep it clean. I wasn't going to go after Barbara Bush and her pearl necklace or whatever. I wasn't going to do it. Believe me, I'm tempted, but I kept it clean and classy that night. And yeah, so 4 presidents and
wow,
that's
pretty cool. Not many people can say they performed for 1, let alone 4. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I've had an unbelievable, blessed life and career, and I was headed. I tried suicide myself, and when I was a kid, alcoholism, drug addiction. I did die at one time, and I'm just a miracle. And it really does have to do with finding more laughter in my life. I had my friend Michael Goldberg. You know how you bond? Don't you bond? Are your best friends people? Don't you laugh with your husband, for instance?
Oh, we have to. We have to. Otherwise, sometimes we'll just cry.
Exactly. So what's going to help any relationship? Look, you're not going to be, beautiful your whole life. Come on. I'm just saying anyone.
Craig, I'm going to try. God knows.
We all fade. I'm fading fast. We all fade, but the one thing that doesn't is your sense of self and sense of humor. It just does not fade, and that keeps people together. Women always say they want a sense of humor in a man, which I think is a bunch of crap anyway. I'm doing comedy. Women aren't in the front row throwing panties. Tell another joke. Talk about your minivan. Oh, you are doing it for me. No, but it really, seriously, laughter does bond us like nothing else. And I had this really good friend, Michael Goldberg. He wrote Cool Runnings, Little Giants. We bonded with the Eagles, watched the Eagles together. We had laughter. He directed my first movie, The Love Master. Anyway, his wife, she was ovulating this one time. I said, we're filming the movie, and all these people had told me they gave me credit for the birth of their children. This one couple was infertile, but then they went home after my show, and because they weren't trying, they were just laughing. So I'm like a fertility clinic, apparently. So I told Golds, I said, she was ovulating. We're in a condo on a day off. And I said, I'll go get sandwiches. I came back, and baby Kayla was conceived and born 9 months later through this laughter and joy. And you're present and you're available, and so you're not, like I said, trying is tense. You're loosening up. So a year and a half after Kayla was born, he was such a great dad. It was brain cancer. The doctor said, you have 3 months to live.
Gosh.
And I tell you, Lara, that was my ha-ha moment. I call it my ha-ha moment. I said, really, does laughter really heal? Is it the best medicine? If it is, how come we're not going to more comedy clubs for our pharmacy? So I started this whole program, guided laughitation, chuckle chatter, in a cancer facility. He showed up for all of it. The prescription was go to more comedy shows, more sitcoms, more funny movies, which that's a prescription I'm going to give to everybody here. Yeah. Watch more and watch how you shift. Share your favorite sitcoms with someone. A funny line, I say, those aren't pillows. That's from Planes, Trains, Automobiles. It's hilarious just saying the line. This is what we should exchange with one another. He showed up so much. came to all my comedy shows. I needed a restraining order. He really took the prescription. He laughed and laughed. They gave him 3 months to live. He lived 15 years past that prognosis.
No, that's
And
amazing.
I formed the charity Laughter Heals. We go to hospitals, aftercare facilities, help wounded
Oh,
warriors,
wow.
their caregivers who almost have it worse sometimes with the
Yeah.
stress they go through. It relieves stress, oxygenates your body, healing endorphins are released. So, which makes me a doctor. Open up and
I
say hi.
mean, yeah, that's incredible. There is also some element of this, as I'm listening to you say this, Craig, that it really feels like, look, we live in a society where people are glued to their phones, their tablets,
Yeah.
a screen.
Yeah.
And it is very hard sometimes to go out. I'll be honest, to go out to dinner sometimes as a couple, because we're always getting blown up. We're looking at our phones, and I look around sometimes and I'm like, God, this is terrible. We're not connecting in any way because we're both focused on something other than each other. And if you really go and you pay attention, because you have to pay attention to get the jokes, right? To a comedy show, if you're watching a funny movie or whatever it might be, you have to be present in that moment. You have to be engaged in that. And I do feel like there's a bit of a lack of that in our society right now as well. Do you think that's a part of it?
I'm so glad you're saying it's a huge part. And I'm a
Yeah.
storyteller, by the way. They're not going to, I mean, I'm sold out tomorrow night. I'm Hermosa, and you know, I'm still selling places out. Those are the people that are just going to show up for themselves and hear stories telling and would be a part of it. It's a communion that takes place, a communion of souls and spirits that comes together. And
Yep.
it's amazing when I watch it happen. And it's everyone it takes everyone in the room to put down that phone. I'm your intervention. Put down the phone.
Please.
You're going to go out with your husband. You're going to go, we're going to a comedy club. You're going to find where are you? Were you in Florida?
Florida, yeah.
All right, you're going to find an improv there. There's loads of improvs there. You're going to go see a comedian. Check with me. I'll tell you if they're good or not.
Okay.
So, and I want you, as your assignment, say, honey, we are not going to look at our cell phones, and watch how great you feel. It's a vacation from all this. Look, it's only going to stress you out. You know
that's
that.
right. That's
What
right.
are you going to get good news on your phone?
Yeah, thank you. I know. It's something, one of my kids is still awake when they should be asleep, and we're trying to have a date night. You know, you're right. There's never anything good. And to me, I always say this to Eric, on Friday night or Saturday night, whatever it might be, those are the big ones. I'm like, is there really something that can't wait for 3 hours that we couldn't deal with after this? So you're right. I'm going to take that assignment. I'm going to pose it to my husband, and we will report back. Hopefully this weekend will be a good one. And you just mentioned you're sold out coming up in your shows. You're on tour right now.
I am on tour.
Tell us where we can find you.
I got a Nashville coming up. I got a Huntsville, Alabama. I'm doing a whole southern tour of Bless Your Heart tour. I'll go bless your heart. You know what that means.
I do know what that means. I'm from North Carolina.
I'm going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina, doing my first matinee show I've ever done. I guess my audience is getting older.
They got to eat and go to bed, Craig. They don't have time for this late night.
It's a 3:00 in the afternoon show.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well. So we'll go rock that out of the Comedy Zone. And listen, just come and enjoy yourself. Don't sit there. I always tell people, you know, if you have a problem with a joke I tell, wait 5 seconds. There'll be one you're okay with. And if you're offended by something, you're just projecting your own stuff that you're not exploring inside of yourself. Go explore yourself.
Yep.
Virtue signaling goes on. Oh, the masking. I almost moved to Florida during the pandemic. It was crazy here. I went out. That's one of the other reasons I left the left. Oh, put a mask on. Meanwhile, they have their nose sticking out while they're talking to you. I said, it's putting a condom on your testicles. What happened to people?
No, my favorite is, by the way, Craig, I still see people. I fly a lot, and I still see people on airplanes, and it's shocking to me because they literally will come on with the mask as though to indicate to everyone else for whom they are voting, right? That to me is like the only reason you're doing it at this point. And then they sit down and they pull the mask down on their chin still today to have something to eat, to talk on the phone, to drink. Mm-hmm. And it stays down for like the whole flight. And I'm really like, that really, you feel like you had to go that far? I don't know. That one really gets me every time I see it.
Or driving alone with a mask. I mean,
my God.
COVID's coming through the moonroof. Here it goes. Whoa. Then they had partitions between seats in comedy clubs when we first started coming out. It's an airborne virus.
Right.
Try eating kimchi beef and doing a belch and see if they smell it over in row 2. They're good. It's going to get there, okay? And the food in front of you doesn't make it disappear. I'm like walking around with a chicken bone in Vegas. I'm building a perimeter. Food will get rid of COVID. We went out of our minds. But what
we can't ever go back there. That was straight up crazy. That was just crazy.
This is when the comedians though really started getting good. I'm serious. We really got good because this was like you pushed enough.
It was like gold, serving up gold to you because there's so much material because it's so outrageous. So much of the stuff.
Out of people have gone out of their minds. But the follower ilk, and this includes your ilk, go out of their minds with the following. It's like step back and laugh at yourself. I really believe
you have to. You have to.
Yeah, just laugh at yourself. Beat us to the punchline.
That's it.
Beat us to the punchline. Make fun of yourself.
I make fun of myself on a regular basis, to be really honest with you. Yeah. I want to keep it light and fun and whatever. We don't have to take it too seriously.
It makes you more vulnerable. And I will tell you, 2 years ago, I would never think I'd be on a podcast with you. And this goes to show you, I'm going to give you a big compliment. Your sense of humor is phenomenal.
Oh, well, thank you.
It was immediate. Your sense of self, your sense of grace, your sense of goodness and kindness. It just comes across the second I met you. Talking about our dog. I should bring my dog in here.
Where's your dog? We'd love to meet your dog. I told you, it's a very dog-friendly show.
Can you bring Buffy in here?
Buffy?
My assistant can bring Buffy in.
Okay, my parents have a dog named Buffy.
No way.
Yeah.
Let me see how sweet she is. She's just the most amazing.
I'm so excited.
She's so amazing, this dog. And she sleeps in my kids are with me half the time. She sleeps in the bed with my son, and he's so happy, and she brings us so much joy.
One of my dogs has sold me out officially, and usually sleeps in my son's bed too. Charlie, he's the OG. He's an almost 14-year-old beagle. He gets into so much. He's always in trouble, always escaping our house. I had to put a GPS collar on him, looking for dead animals in the backyard. It's like that. He is really something. But yeah, he sold me out to sleep with my son Luke most of the time. Is this Buffy?
Come here, Buffy. Come here, girl.
Here she comes.
Oh, she can't stop licking me. Come here. Come here.
It's the greatest. And thank you for rescuing too, Greg.
I might be off booze, but this is quite a liquor I have here all the time.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, you sweet girl. You're a sweet girl. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh, there she is.
Oh, there. Oh my goodness. There's Buffy. Hi, Buffy. Aw. The best.
You don't even know you're on camera right now, do you?
What a beautiful girl.
She's such a good girl. She's
and
4 years old. She's already given puppies, and she was a stray, like on the streets. You can see these unbelievable pecks and deltoids.
I'm trying to get the physique of a pit bull as well. So I mean, I have a lot going on there. And if you ask my husband, unprovoked, I won't say anything to him. You can say what kind of dog will Lara adopt next? He will tell you pit bull in a second, because I think they're amazing dogs. And thank you for adopting and the whole thing. It's amazing. Do you have a website, Craig? Where can people follow you, find out what's going on?
CraigShoemaker.com. It's Shoemaker, not Mocker. There's no umlaut, not off the boat from Bavaria. It's just a shoe. You take your shoes to the maker. You make shoes, you don't mock shoes, okay? Unless they're Crocs. Those you can mock.
Yeah, we have a lot in my house right now, I'll be honest with you. And I hate them all.
You know what the holes are for? So your self-esteem can slip out.
It's true. They're not for me. They're for my children.
I have 9 pair because I don't care anymore.
Oh, see, you gave up. You gave up. I love that for you.
I'm going to have to start dressing well again because now I'm single and I'm on these dating apps, which is a nightmare. Oh
God. Wow. Do not wear the Crocs on a date, Craig.
No, the Crocs are going to, those are hidden until someone really falls in love with me. Then they'll be released.
And then, yeah, exactly. And then you show them the real side of you, the Croc side. Yeah.
I let them see the good stuff now. But the dating has been a nightmare. So if you know anybody in California that you might think wants a guy with a sense of humor,
they all do, don't they?
They say that, but I haven't found that. I've had 5 in a row, no exaggeration, had to blow into a breathalyzer tube to start their car. I am not kidding you.
No.
Oh yeah, I see red flags and I paint them green. That's my problem. I see red flags. It's like. I mean, some of it's like Les Miserables, that big red flag, attend the barricade. It's like, get away, Craig. But I had one with a red flag the other day, and she liked me. So that was a big red flag.
That tipped you right off. As soon as you saw that, you said, oh, wait a minute.
run for the hills on this
Yeah.
one. Somebody said, into
Well,
me.
listen, you're a delight. Thank you for making us all laugh. You've made me laugh throughout this entire
Awesome.
interview, and I wish you the best of luck, and I hope more people take you up on the idea that they need to laugh more, and we need more comedy and, quite frankly, levity in all of our lives, because sometimes we all take everything a little too seriously. So
Yeah.
I want to say thank you, Craig
How
Shoemaker.
we're all born love, light, and levity. Let's express that. Let's connect. And by the way, I have a coaching program, Winning with Laughter, and I teach people how you can be funnier, how you can find more laughter, find more joy in your life, and spread that through the world instead of I'm angry about this, and here's what this, and then they all go down the echo chamber. Here's what I heard about so and so. Here's what I heard about so and so. Why don't you work on yourself before you're attacking others? That's it.
Well, we can all take a note from that for sure. Thank you for joining us
Real
here at The
pleasure,
Right View.
Lara.
Thank you very much. And to everybody at home, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. We'll see you back here next time for more of The Right View.
And I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide, and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great cell plan and feel good about doing it.